Hi, I'm Voza Rivers, founding member of New Heritage Theater Group, founded by Roger Furman in 1964. Roger Furman was a playwright, director, and he based his theater's model on the American Negro Theater. I joined Roger Furman as a volunteer, and for the first 6 years I worked with Roger in all capacities, from maintenance person, box office, focusing lights, prop person, and eventually he said, you know, I believe that it's great if I could have you handle all of the business affairs of the theater, and I will concentrate my efforts on the artistic. We were prolific producers of work written by Roger Furman, written by other writers, poets, and that worked very well. Roger died in 1983. When Roger died, the board of directors of New Heritage Theater asked me to step into the leadership role of the theater, and that it would be important if I, under my leadership, could take all of that experience that the theater had presented as the foundation for the theater and to expand it to go after a larger global audience. Phyllis Stickney, Andre Robinson, and I became the producing partners for New Heritage after Roger died. And Phyllis introduced me to Duma Ngluvu from South Africa. And that opened up my world and my vision to a new opportunity. And that new opportunity was South African theater. There was a play in Manhattan at the time called Woza Albert. It was at the Lucille Hotel Theater, being done by 2 South African actors. I was so moved. I had never seen acting like that before. And after meeting the actors, they wanted to know, where are all the black people who live in New York City who did not see this play? Where are they? Luckily, we were allowed to bring the 2 artists to our small 99-seat theater on 125th Street. The energy that they felt by being in a black theater with a black audience was as if they were back in Johannesburg. They felt at home. After the 2 days of performances, the actors said, listen, we're going back to South Africa, we're going to write another play, and you guys here in Harlem will have to produce it first. They went back and worked on a second play called Asenamali, a Zulu word for we have no money. I wasn't able to go to my regular funding sources because people thought I was crazy, that here it is, 2 actors who are in South Africa, when you have all of these African American actors who can be utilized for productions. And I said, quite honestly, for 20 years with Roger Furman, we did a lot of African American work. And I want to expand on his vision and do international work, and I'd like to do it with South Africa. And I believe that it was just important that we tell the story and expose our audiences to what was happening under the apartheid regime in South Africa. The show ran for 5 weeks in our small theater in Harlem to sold-out audiences and attracted the attention of people like Quincy Jones, like Harry Belafonte, Paul Simon, and a group of investors decided that they would take that show that we presented sight unseen to Broadway. When the show opened on Broadway, it was nominated for a Tony Award. The artists were so pleased, they said, listen, we're going to write another play, a musical, and you have to produce it. I said, absolutely. They went back and they started working on a musical play called Sarafina. They later told me that there were 35 actors in the production. I says, well, wait a minute, guys. My little 99-seat theater cannot accommodate a cast of 35. Lincoln Center, who had visited with us when we did our second play, Asenamali, stepped up, and the play performed at Lincoln Center for about 12 weeks, all sold out. And the question was, should the show have an extended run, perhaps on a Broadway stage? And we all sat around and agreed, yes, it should go to Broadway. Sarafina went to Broadway, stayed there for 2.5 years, was nominated for 5 Tony Awards, and from Broadway, it went on a national tour. The original producers of all the work coming out of South Africa was a company formed by Mongolian Gamer, the playwright, called Committed Artists, and in collaboration with my theater company and with me. And I did that for 10 years, working with Committed Artists and presenting not only Sarafina, Woza Albert, and the Cinemali, but also their new production, which was called Township Fever. And we did that play, and it ran at the Brooklyn Academy of Music for a number of years. Based on that, I started building up a reputation of presenting not only local work, but also international work. And to today, the theater company is known for its reach into Cuba and producing Harlem, Havana. The theater also had an opportunity to work with the Japanese in a theater company called the Inamori Art Project Group. 1,000 productions later, we are now 56 years old. We're the oldest black not-for-profit theater in New York. We have partnered with some of the major institutions downtown, but most importantly, the work that we have done with our local theaters. And I can only thank the Harlem community for being our home and to continue the work that we do.